Here are more Berenstain Bears.
Factual, factual.
Big Paw Bear.
Professor Oak. Who's Tea Honey Butter? I'm the mayor.
And lots more.
Bears galore!
You may think that this starts our show. Well, it does.
Tell me, have you ever been watching a piece of media and then come across something similar to what I just showed you all? A character from a cartoon that we usually see in their normal environment, but for one reason or another, in this particular moment, they appear in front of an all-black background. If you have seen something like this, especially if you were a kid at the time, chances are you found it very creepy, or at least unsettling. Why? What makes an all-black background so scary? That answer is precisely what I am going to try to find, as today we go over why so many people find all-black backgrounds scary. Before we get into the video, two things. I'd quickly like to ask you all to share your similar experiences with all-black backgrounds in the comments below, because I'm sure that there are way more examples of it than I will be going over today. And secondly, I will be going over what I think are the 3 layers to this phenomenon, starting with surface level fear of the dark, moving to moderate fear of confusion and ambiguity, and ending with the creepiest category of all, deep, psychological fear of infinity. With that being said, let's begin. Blackness. Something we've all dreaded as a kid. Waking up in the middle of the night and being afraid of what lurks in the dark. The seemingly empty void in front of us, capable of harboring the real-world manifestations of all of our worst nightmares, waiting to get us. This is the kind of effect that darkness has had in real life, and it's not hard to see why this feeling would also translate into the digital world. Most of the time, we love the cartoon characters we see surrounded by the darkness, and our minds associate that darkness that they are in the midst of with danger. After all, practically every single scary or creepy or disturbing thing we have been taught to fear is encompassed by black. Black has become a color that is known for being evil. And so to see our beloved characters shrouded in the blackness causes our minds to see evil all around them. Just like in real life, when we were afraid of the monsters of the night lurking out in the darkness waiting to get us, so too we feel a remnant of that fear for our cartoon character, worried about what disturbing demon is lurking just behind the folds of the darkness. Does the image on screen unsettle you? Why? Perhaps it is because something is out of place. It shouldn't be there. How about this image? Does it cause you to be on edge just a little? Perhaps it's because you cannot truly make out the subject of the image, nor their intentions. The first image I showed you was an example of fear caused by illogic or confusion. And the second one was an example of fear induced by ambiguity, both of which can be found in all black backgrounds. Let's start with fear from confusion, the character you see in the Blackness. Where do they actually belong? When we see them, they are almost always surrounded by a familiar environment, or one that makes sense within the world they live in. For example, we are accustomed to seeing SpongeBob in his pineapple house, or in the Krusty Krab, or at the very least in Bikini Bottom. So, when he finds himself in the unfamiliar town of Rock Bottom, it almost puts the audience on edge before the episode even gets into the creepy theatrics. It's unsettling to find yourself in a new environment that you know nothing about, because not only is it devoid of comfort from familiarity, but also leaves you vulnerable. The same can be said of our character, as they are in an unfamiliar, dark place, and oftentimes a place that makes no logical sense in their world. The black environment is foreign to the rest of the world, and leads to an unsettling sense of caution and confusion. This black environment is foreign to the rest of the world, and leads to an unsettling sense of confusion. You aren't familiar with this place, and you don't know what to expect from it, which actually leads to my next point: fear of the unknown. To help me make my point, let's separate the terms scary and creepy, and define them both individually. For something to be scary is for something to be threatening, like being locked in a room with a serial killer, or falling off of a cliff. Scariness is related to an actual threat in our lives or something we value, which could also make something like taking a big test to be considered scary. Creepy, however, is something that is mysterious, with unknown intentions and the possibility of being able to harm you, but not the certainty. A man standing under a street lamp in the middle of the night is creepy, or an unknown sound coming from your basement. Creepy is precisely what all black backgrounds are. Because the darkness could be hiding anything in it, the blackness makes us uncomfortable. We are creeped out by the ambiguity of the all-black environment. This last layer of fear is by far the most frightening to me personally, and I think is at the core of why people find completely black backgrounds creepy. The fear of infinity. The concept of infinity is something that surpasses all constructs of our universe, which is finite. Physically, as far as we know, there is nothing that has been eternally existent, and the concept of eternity exists only in our imaginations and minds. If you have tried thinking about an infinite amount of time, then chances are you've probably psyched yourself out, and were not able to clearly picture the concept itself. We as humans are temporary beings, and so everything around us and the entire world that we find ourselves in is finite. The unfathomable idea of infinity is something that scares us if we try to understand it. But how does this relate to all black backgrounds? Think about it this way. You see a finite character who exists from a cartoon in the middle of complete blackness. They are surrounded by nothingness, which is in itself an infinity. Infinite nothingness. Nothing ever has come about, nor ever will exist in this empty void, and the character on screen is trapped there forever. The black emptiness invites us in to ponder the infinite vastness of empty black space, nothingness for an eternal amount of time, forever doomed to residing in an empty void where we, personified as the character on screen, are the only thing to ever exist, surrounded by non-existence. I believe this fear of black infinity is the root of our uneasiness when presented with an all-black background. The subtle way it suggests an endless void of blackness, and how our beloved characters will be trapped, remaining isolated from all of existence forever. This kind of fear is psychological, and this kind of fear is truly disturbing. Ever since I could remember, I have been terrified by all black backgrounds. The fear definitely started as a child, and I even made a video reviewing the first instance I came across this as a kid. The video will be linked in the description. The older I got, the more I started to question why I found characters surrounded by complete blackness to be so creepy, and eventually compiled my observations presented in this video. All of these fears may not be relatable to you. Heck, maybe you don't even find all black backgrounds that scary. But the impact it had on me as a child was definitely real. I do truly believe that all black backgrounds have a very unique effect, and I don't even think I nailed every single one of the things I find disturbing about them. I guess the best way to summarize my thoughts would be to say that something about them creeps out my subconscious, and that causes me to experience fear. If you have ever felt similarly when looking at a character in an all-black background, then please share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below, and share this video with people who you think would find it interesting. Don't forget to share other instances of all black backgrounds that I missed in this video, and I'll see you all on the next one. Have a great day.